So I have this article from Android Police. I think we're going to talk about some OnePlus stuff here. We're going to talk about the 7 Pro, and then we're going to get into the OnePlus 8. But this article from Android Police says OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro get better RAM management and improved slow-mo videos in Oxygen OS 10.0.5. They haven't received the April security patch though. So here's the thing: is again, this is OnePlus still going out there to keep supporting their older hardware. I mean, the OnePlus 7 isn't that old, but you know what I'm saying. OnePlus is usually praised as a manufacturer that updates its devices sooner rather than later, but our data shows that that isn't necessarily the case for the OnePlus 7 Pro. It missed quite a few security patches in the course of the last year. The latest release continues this trend. Interesting. While OnePlus 7 Pro and 7 have just received an update to Oxygen OS 10.0.5 or 10.3.2 in India, they've only gotten the March security patches, not the ones from April. At least the devices aren't stuck with the January patches any longer, which they received as part of their previous Oxygen OS release. Other than the security update, OnePlus says that it has optimized RAM management and improved system stability. The camera has also picked up a more stable slow-mo video recording mode. I'm sorry, there are people out there like starting to cut grass or do some shit. So if it starts to get noisy, I apologize. And a bug that made screenshots disappear randomly in the gallery has been fixed. As always, the new software is rolling out in stages. You can check your system settings for updates, but if you haven't received a notification yet, it'll likely take some time until the Oxygen OS release reaches you. So yeah, update for the OnePlus 7 and the 7 Pro. Now, I have this article from Droid Life. I talked about this the other day because OnePlus, went live. They didn't go live, but everyone's talking about how OnePlus is going to be officially releasing their new OnePlus 8, OnePlus 8 Pro, and possibly a budget phone, the OnePlus Z, maybe around the same time, maybe later. We don't know yet. And it has a lot of specs. It hasn't really, I don't think it's really talked specifically about the camera. It might have, I think, a 48 megapixel one, but I don't know for sure. But it's talked about the specs, and the only thing that's missing really at this point is the price of the phone. So this report says OnePlus 8 pricing may not completely suck. Very straightforward title there. We're all very curious how OnePlus intends to price the OnePlus 8 lineup, considering the OnePlus 8 Pro is now confirmed to have similar specs to that of the Galaxy S20 Ultra from Samsung. So here's the thing: is I've been saying it for a while now, but OnePlus has been going up in price year over year, and while it's still undercutting the competition as far as flagship stuff, uh, it's still getting at prices where I would rather pass than pay. The best way that I can put it. The problem with that is Samsung might be the only Android OEM who could get away with having the audacity to charge $1,400 for a smartphone. Could OnePlus get away with that? We don't think so. Plus, that's not how they tend to operate. They don't tend to operate that way, but they're still pricing their phones pretty high. Again, this is why it's always good to look at some of their older models because they usually put those at really good discounts, especially around this time. And I just talked about that earlier with the OnePlus 6T for $300. The OnePlus 7T you can get now, I think, straight from their website for $499. In a conversation with OnePlus CEO Pete Lau, Business Insider India has learned that we might be pleasantly surprised by the pricing of the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. Will we, though? According to them, these phones could be the most affordable 5G devices to launch this year, which is actually big news if accurate. I don't know about that. Let's consider what's available right now in the 5G department. Looking at the big brands, there's the Galaxy S20 lineup starting at $1,000. You also have the LG V60, which starts at $800 on T-Mobile. Even if OnePlus can't beat the LG V60 price at $800, with the OnePlus 8 Pro packing an insane amount of specs, coming in under $1,000 would be a big win for consumers. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think paying $1,000 insane amount of specs. So let's talk about those insane amount of specs. You get a Snapdragon 865, you get 120 hertz display or 120 hertz refresh rate. So Great things there. You'll get 8 gigs of RAM or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage, IP68 water and dust, uh, certification or whatever, water dust proof, resistant. That's the word. Sorry. Wireless charging, fast charging, and then I don't know. Yeah. Are they great specs? They are. They're top end specs. They're top end specs for what you can get in 2020. Um, is that worth my $1,000? I don't know. I don't really know. We still don't know what that camera is going to be like, right? A big reason a lot of people spend money is for the best camera, and at $1,000, I expect a pretty good damn camera, especially at night, especially in low light. That's important to me. Maybe it's not for you guys, but it is for me. I'm not trying to bash OnePlus here because they make good hardware. They've made good performing hardware. There isn't another company that. So even though I'm a big fan of stock Android, OnePlus technically, I just had this conversation yesterday, but OnePlus technically doesn't have stock vanilla Android, but they do it in such a way where it's so clean it could almost be touted as such. But with and this is something that can be argued might even be better, right? Because they seem to enhance what stock Android has or gives you and kind of adds a little more to it. Um, Again, the thing I talk about a lot is price point and spending money, and I'm at that point. I'm at that point in my life where I don't want to spend more than $500 for a new phone, and again, as I said it before, I'm putting my foot down on that because I just don't think we need to be paying that much money for a phone. If you have the cash, fine, right? I don't. If you got money to spend or money to burn, that's great, but I don't. Uh, I don't see myself. I'm trying to think what this would price at. So, uh, manufacturers today they keep coming up with this three model solution. Let's make a very high end model. Let's make another high end model, but take away some stuff and still call it a flagship. And then let's make a mid range model. So, if they make this budget OnePlus Z, right, which is supposed to be a successor for the OnePlus X, um, they're already talking that it's not going to have a Snapdragon processor. It's not even going to have, it's not going to have a Snapdragon 800. It's not going to have any of those. It's going to be using I think a MediaTek, right? A density, whatever. I can't remember. Dimensity. Well, I can't remember the name, but yeah, those aren't going to have the best specs. Their mid-range version is going to come in at probably $400 to $500, right? And is it going to be a really well-performing OnePlus phone? I don't know. Maybe it could. I never used the OnePlus X. I haven't heard the best things about it, but again, I can't speak for that because I haven't used one. And then the OnePlus 8, right, which is going to be their flagship phone, but not their top end phone, will probably come in at, I guess, $700 to $800 is my guess, and that's still way too much for me. That budget price for the OnePlus Z, if that comes out, I probably wouldn't spend the money on it because it probably isn't going to be the best. Or at least the best performing enough to make me say, well, that was worth my money. Because maybe I'm just better off spending. Again, look at the OnePlus 7T going for $499 right now. That's probably going to be a better deal than what this OnePlus Z or whatever is gonna be or gonna have on it. And then the OnePlus 8 Pro. So it's gonna be under $1,000. I think Pete Lau was um bragging about it, like, yeah, it's gonna be because he said it's gonna be less than what you can get for the base S20. So 1,000, it's gonna be less than $1,000 is pretty much what he was saying. 900, is that what it's gonna price at? 800 to $900. That's still a lot of money for a phone, guys. It's still a lot of money. I'm not telling you not to buy it. Buy whatever the fuck you want. I mean, who am I to talk, right? I spent $800 for a Pixel 4. I spent $1,000 on my iPhone 11 Pro, but those were the last two phones that I really said I was going to spend my money on. And I mean, I think I will buy whatever upcoming Pixels that's going to replace the Pixel 4, whatever is going to be the successor to the Pixel 4. maybe. Um, and the iPhone 11 Pro probably. Just it depends on what I can get on trade in and how much I end up spending overall. Again, I say I put my foot down, but I feel like those might be exceptions. So am I a hypocrite? Probably, but I'm just trying to make you guys aware of what to spend your money on and maybe what's a better deal out there.